Hi friends, welcome to our 5th Sunday of Lent. If you've been joining us, you know that we have been talking about different acts of healing each week, different things that we can do to make ourselves feel better. When we're angry, when we're sad, when we're having a hard time or going through a tough situation, what are things that we can do to heal and feel happy and joyful? Last week, we shared about the creation story. Our act of healing last week was playing is an act of healing. And that tied into our creation story because we know God created all of us. Every person, no matter how different, God created us. And the gift of that life is we have this body and a mind that we can use as a gift back to God. That means when we play, whether that's playing music, whether it's using our bodies to exercise or exercising our minds with making art or writing a story, all of that is using our bodies as God's creation and acts of playing. This week, I want to continue talking about the creation story to remind us not just that God created us and our bodies and all of us and humanity, but the rest of the world too. So right now, I'm going to take some time to read through our creation story. So get cozy and envision in your mind maybe somewhere outside that you love to go. We're going to talk about that again in a second. This version of the Bible is called My First Message, and it's what I used last week to read from part of the creation story, and a few weeks ago too, when we talked about sharing our stories, which we'll also bring back here when we're finished reading this portion. First, this. God created the heavens and earth, all you see, all you don't see. Earth was a dark soup of nothing, a bottomless emptiness. God's spirit watched like a bird above the deep, dark water. God spoke, light, and light appeared. God saw that light was good. God named the light day. He named the dark night. It was evening and it was morning, day 1. God spoke, sky. And there it was. God named sky the heavens. It was evening and it was morning, day 2. God spoke, land appear, and there it was. God named the land earth. God named the pooled water ocean. God saw that it was good. God spoke, earth, grow all varieties of green plants, every sort of fruit tree, and there it was. God saw that it was good. It was evening, it was morning, day 3. God spoke, lights, come out, shine in heaven's sky, separate day from night. And there it was. God made 2 big lights, the larger to take charge of day and the smaller to be in charge of night. And God made the stars. God saw that it was very, very good. It was evening, it was morning, day 4. God spoke, ocean fill with fish and all sea life. Birds fly through the sky over earth. God saw that that was good. God blessed them. Fish in the waters have children. Birds in the sky have children. It was evening, it was morning, day 5. God spoke, earth, become alive with every kind of life. And there it was. Wild animals of every kind, cattle of all kinds, every sort of reptile and bug. God saw that it was good. God spoke, let us make people to reflect God's image, so they can take care of the fish in the sea, the birds in the air, the cattle, and yes, earth itself. God created people in God's image, reflecting God's nature. God created them, blessed them, saying, take care of every living thing on earth. God looked over everything God had made. It was so good, so very, very good. Now, what I love about this very first story that is in the Bible is that it gives us a story and a vision about how God may have created the world. But the most important lesson that I take away from this story is that we know how special it feels to know that we are created by God. But that also means that every living thing, the plants and the animals, the water and the earth, are also very, very special and important to God. And that we are all connected to the earth and all of God's creation. A challenge for you this week is to think about that. How does it feel to know that the same God that created us also created everything that we see on the earth? How can that make you feel connected to nature? This week's act of healing is being connected to nature. Going outside, spending time swimming, running in an open park, doing different things outdoors that make you feel happy. How do you connect to nature? Now, I mentioned earlier that there was another story that I have read from the Bible in one of these videos, and that week was sharing our stories as an act of healing. And what we said was really important about that, how it helps us heal, is when we share a story about who we are, something about our life with someone else, it helps us bond. It brings us closer together as friends, the more that we learn about one another. So this week, when our act of healing is connecting with nature, I want to share part of my story with you. If there is any act of healing or anything that makes me feel better when I'm sad or having a hard time, it is absolutely being outside and connecting with nature. I have always loved to do it ever since I was a kid. I would have a hard time coming in when I was out playing and my parents would tell me it was time to be done. I love to be outside. Over the past year, when we have had a different way of life, we haven't been able to do as much, we've been home a lot more, a lot of us have spent more time outside. For me, personally, I have spent almost every single day, I've only missed a few, in the past year since March of 2020, I have taken time to take a walk outside. In that time, I have learned so much about the area that we live in Columbus, Ohio, all of the beautiful parks that we are blessed to have around us, and I have taken advantage of this time to spend more time outside. And what I have learned is that being outside for me is absolutely an act of healing. Every day that I have made the choice to get outside, it automatically makes me feel better. And honestly, is the closest that I usually feel connected to God. I reflect about the beautiful things that I see and think about God's creation and how I also am one of God's creations. So this week, our act of healing is connecting with nature. So I challenge you, what are ways that you can connect with nature? Is it just being outside, sitting under a tree? Is it playing a sport outside? Is it seeing a friend? Maybe it's picking flowers and bringing them inside to your home so you can see parts of nature while you're inside. I hope you find a way to connect with nature this week. And to close, I'm going to share a poem that I love that we can consider a prayer. And while I read that, I'm going to show different pictures that I have taken over the last year when I've been out on my walks. I hope you have a great week. I hope you have a happy Sunday and enjoy the time outside this week. Happy Sunday. God is beauty. The mountain peaks and the great depths of the sea, the light of day and the shadows of night, the marvelous birds and the fabulous fish, the multitudes of trees, of plants, and of animals. All these splendors are just a tiny reflection of the perfect beauty of God. But perhaps what reflects God's beauty the best is the expression of people who love, who hope, and who work to make life beautiful. Amen.